Buenos días, buenas tardes, y buenas noches. Bonjour, bonsoir, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, wherever you may be. J. Slater case on this Saturday, August 8th. And not much news as such for this video, just a bit of a roundup of things as they stand. And then I'll pontificate somewhat on what I touched on yesterday, that really quite astounding news, it seems, that Debbie Duncan, 2 days after she landed in Tenerife, was contacting this Northern Irish dog search group. I call them Canine Sarni, Sarni, Search and Rescue Northern Ireland. And then I said in that video, I need to think through this because I'm 100% sure what's going on, but it is, on the surface, a little strange. You land in Tenerife, you got this message about kiss goodbye to your boy. And then 2 days, well, you sign up for the Happy Hikers group, and then your next priority is to ask this Northern Irish group, can they come over with their dogs? Why? Because I guess Guardia Civil aren't doing a good enough job? You've given them 2 days and already given them a failing grade and said, can someone else come over and help? It is an odd one. I'm going to think through that in this video. Before I get to that, I want to do the update. So the update, as we look at the accident group, what is their reaction to what is going on? I think everyone on our side has been, with bated breath, holding on for the Ivor Lovelace reaction, because quite a few days ago now, this man has had, if we can call him man, this creature, the West Wales fairy himself, has had quite some time, day upon day upon day upon day, to think through how he reacted to what looked like perfectly good information to me that was put out there on the Open Court Data UK site that one Stephen Rocas, a good chum, no less, of the Fishguard Fairy, along with Ayub Kassim. Yeah, the news that Stephen Fortis Rocas had an impending trial, impending in the UK is in a couple of years' time or something, and Fishguard Fairy immediately went out there and said he had analysed in great detail that site, and consulting with, I guess, other technological IT gurus, had come to the conclusion that it was a scamming fake, an absolutely scamming fake of a website. I pointed out that the information contained in that site seems to be pretty darn accurate for a whole host of other court details. AI said, oh, yes, that information is gathered from across the UK. It's a legitimate site. But maverick that he is, oddball that he is, the loveless one, Ivy Lovelace, scamming fake. Those are the words, scamming fake. Yeah. Well, have we got any developments on that? Has he stepped back and said, no, I do see now that this site looks like it's got real, reliable information? Not at all. Not at all. Just today, we had some tripe that he posted about some stupidity of the foul play group. How, the usual, we've had it for 2 years now, the repeat, recycle, rinse whole thing about we don't have to give you information. But absence, it's the absence of information that is important here. Absence, total absence from the Fishguard Fairy on correcting himself on the so-called scamming fake website Open Court Data UK. So I guess that's yet another one, Ivor, you just leave hanging in the air. You said it, you put it out there, you lied, you fabricated, you panicked, you put out total shite. You spend a few days hiding, and then you run away from the whole issue by posting about something completely different. We enter year 3, Ivor, of you doing this. I think those with a little bit of brain power can see your tactics here. Yeah? You go out, you say stupid shite, then you hide, and then you pretend you never said it. Let's just turn the other way. I would say that's the accident group in a nutshell. And that is why, Ivor, that is why none of you in your group will ever go voice to voice, camera on, unedited debate with me. Because it's only by writing your little shite messages can you hide. Yeah, that's it. Whether it be Janie, whether it be Thomas, whether it be Laurie, whether it be Jugglers, not one of you will ever go actually voice your side of the argument to me so that we can exchange ideas live. You won't do it, you can't do it, and you know why. It's because you say stupid shite, and then when I put it back at you, you can't hide from it. But you can when you do your little edited typed messages. We got it. We got it, Ivor. In the meantime, Ivor, when you get around to it, just tell us. Just tell us, confirm that Open Court Data UK is a scamming fake site. Let's hear it one more time from you so that we can all just absolutely be sure that's your position. Chris Pennington, here's another one. Chris Pennington that says shite and then runs away and hides. He's been hiding a long, long time. But I pointed out something interesting that's happening on TikTok for whatever reason. And this is where I'd quite like to speculate, but I don't know. Maybe do it on a live with Jan or something. What the hell's going on with Chris Pennington posting on TikTok what looks like a whole lot of foul play group propaganda? Because what he posted, yes, well, all kinds of things he's been putting. I'm assuming it's Chris Pennington put it out there. I mean, it's his account, TikTok Chris Pennington. Wouldn't surprise me if someone got into that. Silvana, Adrian, someone that doesn't like the way Chris has handled all this, and has just started posting stuff that contradicts what he said. That's why I said, looks like Chris Pennington's done a 360 because he's now back to saying foul play group stuff. So in one video there was Adrian, sidekick Adrian is blabbing away, and Adrian's on the path. I know it well. It's not really a path. I call it like a goat track. This little side trail that goes around the abandoned house. Then it goes into a dip. And when I was there, you have to, breach this kind of pool of water. Then it climbs up. It's that climb up to the left-hand side of the unit. Well, Adrian's going down there. And he had exactly the same reaction as me. It's interesting, when Adrian isn't with Chris, because Chris is off in the distance, Adrian actually starts talking some sense. Yeah, so Adrian, thumbs up for that. Thank you for talking some sense when Chris isn't breathing down your neck. And Adrian says, Adrian's saying, I just can't see how anyone, his exact words, I think, were, I can't see how anyone would come down here unless it were the only option. And by that, I imagine Adrian's thinking someone is chasing Jay, someone is forcing Jay to go down there. Exactly my thoughts, Adrian. We're on the same track here. If you're starting to bumble down that place, that track, that it's not really a track, it's just, a slight opening up in the vegetation. If you start going down there thinking you're going to get anywhere, it's because it's your only option. So suddenly I see Adrian and I agreeing, boots on the ground, you're faced with that terrain, you ain't going down there. But why is Chris Pennington posting Adrian saying that? And then there's another one where Nick Pisa, the Daily Mail correspondent, is on GB News, and he's repeating Chris's words to a national, millions of viewers audience. Chris's original views, if the ping location of Jay's phone is correct, the only way, I think, Nick Pisa's words were, the only way to get there is by using a machete. In other words, that phone must have been thrown in there. In other words, Jay never went there. So if Jay wasn't with his phone, we got foul play. This is so bizarre. Into year 3, and Chris Pennington, or whoever is now running that account, has decided to start pumping out some videos that are pure FPG messaging. Why? What is going on? Is it possible that Chris Pennington and his home life is under such pressure? We've seen him do this once before. The man had a total breakdown as far as I could see. He was stumbling, he was incoherent, he was on camera trying to say stupid shit. I don't know if you remember that one when he got on to me trying to say, that Ian Duncan Smith, the former Prime Minister, is like, come on, before you put your face on camera, man, at least do some Wikipedia research. And he was bumbling and fumbling his way trying to say that the Masca HQ couldn't have any narco connection because you got the comprador, you got the comprador, vende, all that stupid shite he was doing. I think that was his last grand masterpiece appearance. Yeah, I did a rebuttal, then he went under his rock, hid under his table again, hid under his desk for a long period of time. And now we got his stupid old fart of a dad, Peter Pennington, fumbling around. Peter Pennington can't do a live debate either. Stupid old tosser. No, he can't do anything. Anyway, that's the situation. That's the update for you with the accident group. Now then, getting back to this Northern Ireland group and the dogs, and yeah, Debbie Duncan. So what's going on here? it looks like they never got permission. Let's step back a bit. Debbie, on the 20th of June, according to that post that I put up, contacted the Northern Ireland dog team and said, please come over and help us. And they never did because they were waiting day after day, week after week for permission from a whole host of people to go and do that. And we were all wondering why. Why no permission to send the Irish dogs over when, I pointed out in the John George case, the permission came through almost immediately. And we were thinking, what is the barrier here? Well, obviously not on the British side. I would say it's either the Guardia Civil or that dodgy mayor, because I noticed his name was there, Emilio Navarro, the dodgy mayor of Santiago del Teide. Yeah, so one of them, or both of them, I believe, were the obstacle to the Irish dog team going over there. But why? Well, I was thinking through the different scenarios here. Scenario number one, and you've got to think, which scenario does each party want? Yeah, scenario number one. Jay Slater is found alive. After a few days, after a week even. He's found in a cave, in bad shape, but he's alive. It's that scenario. Well, they all do, don't they? Yeah, I think so. I think they all want that. All parties, whether it be Guardia Civil, the dodgy mayor, Debbie Duncan, they all want Jay to be found alive. I mean, it could be that the Spanish authorities might be wary about what Jay then says to the press about what happened to him, especially if it touches on the narco activity and the underworld of Tenerife. So, yeah, I think they all want that to happen, but some on the Spanish side do have reservations. Scenario number two. Jay is just missing. Missing person. After 2 weeks they've done their searching. Jay's missing, and he is missing forever. Never found again. Who wants that scenario? Not me. Absolutely not. That's possibly the worst scenario. But it's one that she does not want. I'm just guessing here. I'm speculating. Debbie, Warren, Zach, the rest of them are probably saying, find Jay Slater alive. If it's between finding Jay dead or not finding Jay forever, they may well say, it's better to have the proof that he died. I don't know. What do you think? But the whole missing person forever, no, 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 no. I can't see Debbie wanting that. But I wonder if Debbie got wind of the fact that the dodgy mayor and the Guardia Civil would probably want that. To be honest, if you're the dodgy mayor and the Guardia Civil, missing person, never found him, who knows what happened, doesn't damage your reputation. I mean, there's not going to be any live Jay going to the press saying, let me tell you what happens in Tenerife to 19-year-olds. So actually, if we take the purely cynical approach here, the whole Jay Slater just went missing and was never found again kind of suits what the dodgy mayor and the Guardia Civil and some others in Tenerife would want to happen. They might, can I say, prefer that to Jay's found alive, but he starts spilling the beans on all the shite that happens to people that go on a rave over there. When we have the scenario where Jay's found dead, I mean, again, to be totally cynical, if he's dead, he's not going to say much. If he's dead and it looks like he died by accident, again, dodgy mayor, Guardia Civil, Tenerife in general comes out of it okay. Oh, it's an accident. Nothing terrible to be said about where we live here, is there? Obviously, the worst case scenario, I say obviously, I'm then going to question it. The worst case scenario is that Jay is found dead, and it was obvious that foul play was involved here, serious foul play involved. That would be just awful. Obviously, because Jay would be dead, but the whole foul play thing would then point to the underworld of Tenerife and a very torturous explanation of what happened to Jay would then ensue. Dead with foul play in the background, then goes down the track, I think, that no one wants to go down. Debbie doesn't want to go down that track because she doesn't want to know what happened to Jay. Let's just assume, for the sake of argument, Debbie has a strong suspicion that there's some nasty underworld foul play stuff going on. It involves Brandon, it involves Lucy, it involves Brad, and by extension, it could even involve their parents. Beck's Law could even involve Rach Hargreaves, could even involve Natalie Quinn? No, Natalie, well, Hodgson, but Quirk is her maiden name. You see, this path of let's find out what happened to Jay is totally different from let's find Jay. If you find Jay, yeah, we can tell Jay to shut up, don't talk about what happened to you. But if he's found dead, foul plays in the background, and the investigation happens, then that's the worst possible route, I would suggest, for everyone, including Debbie, though it shouldn't be. Debbie should want to know what happened to Jay. Now I get to the point here. My point is, if Debbie's decided that she really can't bear the thought of finding out what happened to Jay, yeah, just wants to find Jay, then she would be tempted to do anything to just find Jay. You see, and this would be on my mind, if I'd known on day one, let's say June 18th, June 19th, let's take those 2 days, June 18th, June 19th, the first 2 days of searching for Jay. If I personally had got wind of the fact that the dogs did not find any scent, they could not follow any track, no scent of Jay, my mind immediately would go to foul play. Because if I've been told Jay was at this Airbnb, and if I've been told he walked up this hill, and I've been told he went off that hill, and I've been told he went down this ravine, and on the day after he's supposed to do that, or 2 days after he's supposed to do that, these trained dogs, that is their job. Not one single dog can rise to the occasion and start smelling Jay's scent. I'd be like Debbie. I think Debbie was like, shit, then that means what I was told is bullshit, yeah? And if he did do that, then there's a big cover up. And what are they covering up? They're probably covering up that he's gone missing, or maybe he's dead, or held hostage, or what have you. There's foul play involved. So if Debbie's lost all faith in the Guardia Civil's ability to find Jay, she's going to find another way to find Jay, and that is contacting a real dog team that wants to find Jay. Because again, if Debbie Duncan is convinced that the Guardia Civil really don't want to find Jay, that, their most cherished outcome here is a missing person forever, and it seems like Debbie's gone along with that. I've speculated before. I said this big argument that was supposed to have happened. It's supposed to be a big stand-up argument. Warren, Debbie, Guardia Civil in Santiago del Teide police station when they all first are there together. It was reported. Didn't go well. It was not a meeting that went well. I've always speculated that is the Guardia Civil telling Debbie, you got a choice here. You either go with the missing person report, and everything we do is geared towards searching for Jay in the area the friend said he was, and he is a missing person 100%. Either you go with that, Debbie and Warren, or you want the full-blown investigation into what happened to Jay Slater. Everything in the background from the days before he left Lancashire to who he met when he got here, what he was doing when he was here. Is his system full of narco substances? The full investigation. That is your choice. And I'm just speculating that maybe Debbie, when she thought about that, said, okay, I get it. Guardia Civil, you are happier putting all your eggs in the missing persons basket, and you know what? I guess we'll go along with that. So everything will be geared up towards just finding Jay and not bothering with what has happened to Jay. But I believe Debbie came to that conclusion after a long, drawn out mental battle with herself and an argument that didn't go well. Then what I'm saying is maybe Debbie sensed that because the Guardia Civil were so married to missing person, we'll search for 2 weeks and then we're done, Debbie still wants to find Jay. Not what happened to Jay, but find him. And if she senses the Guardia Civil ain't up to it, she's going to get up. So she went first of all to Northern Ireland. And then the rest of the story, you know. When the Irish couldn't come through, I guess she thought the Dutch. But then by that stage, it was more find the body of Jay, wasn't it, as time went on? But still, finding the body of Jay is much, much better than, hey, he's missing forever, I would think. I'm just saying, I think there is a rational explanation of why Debbie, very, very early on, wanted a skilled and committed dog team to finding Jay. Of all the options out there, Debbie was very much married to that idea. She very much didn't want to find out what happened to Jay, otherwise, she would have absolutely interrogated the friends of Jay over and over again. And Debbie was not very happy, not happy at all, with the we treat him as a missing person, missing person, missing person. Hey, if nothing shows up, he's a missing person forever. She knows what she doesn't want in this situation. But what she does want, just find Jay, that ain't so easy. Like I say, you got the Guardia Civil, you got this dodgy mayor, you got a whole load of people on Tenerife. Oh, I don't know about that. But just finding him, and then we have an investigation. If it's foul play or if it's accident, we have a load of people speculating. The press, oh, I don't know. Just finding Jay, Debbie. You sure that's what you want to do? Yeah, that's sure. That's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. So get as many dogs over here as we can. I don't know. I'm just speculating. I've been thinking about it, but it's clear to me, for whatever reason, Debbie really did want, beyond the level that the Guardia Civil were performing at, a method of finding Jay. But I mean, if Debbie's like me, like what, the dogs couldn't find a scent from Jay after 2 days, they're up there and they can't find a scent. Maybe, I don't know, maybe the idea was for the Northern Ireland team to come over and Debbie would say privately, I don't think that's where Jay went. Could you and your team start sniffing in a different area? Maybe where Millie was searching, south of Santiago. No, no. It's got to be a reason. You don't, on the second day after you've landed in Tenerife, you don't just get in touch with a group in Northern Ireland and say, please, as soon as you can, get your dogs over here. It's got to be a reason for it. I'll let you tell me or correct me in the comments where I'm going wrong with this. Okay, as always, longer than I anticipated, but there we go. Tomorrow, as far as I know, Jan's Views Live, but I will try to confirm that and do a video tomorrow at some point. I will say hasta luego, adios, hasta la vista, and see you next time.